Trust me, I know. So thank you, regardless of where you stand politically. Thank you for stepping up to the plate. We don't have a whole lot of time, but we have some very important dialogues to engage in to help us and our family members and our friends and neighborhoods understand where these candidates stand on the issues that are important to you. So I'm going to dive right into this. The best way to run is unopposed, right? And we have two council members of Arlington City Council who are unopposed today. So I would like to bring Mr. Raul Gonzalez up, and you will have 1 minute to address the audience. I know Raul, he will keep it under 1 minute.
Hello, my friend. So good to see y'all. I know almost everybody in here, and it's just so, I'm blessed to be able to give back to the community. As you know, I'm not a business leader or a developer. I'm just a regular person that was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and I really believe in giving back. At a very young age, I was diagnosed, and I'm just here, and God is important to me, and I grew up with faith, and everything that I do is based upon that. And God put us on this earth to help each other, and we're all different. We all have different beliefs, different rights, and I represent everybody in the city of Arlington, so thank you.
Thank you, Raul. Next is Colonel Longfam. By the way, long means dragon in Vietnamese, not long.
My name is Long Pham. Currently, I'm the Arlington City Council member, District 6 at large. I represent the whole citywide. And I came to this country, like Amy, about 49 years ago, a refugee from Vietnam. Mom, dad, 7 kids. The clothes in our back and $15. So I live the American dream. I get to go to public school, serve our country, and retired from the Army Reserve in 17. And got lucky enough to get elected June 18 of 2022 to City Council. And I always tell people the past 2 years I have the honor to serve the citizens of Arlington. And I tell people I work for the people, so they are my boss. So I have total of 400,000 bosses. And if you want my phone number, you can call me at City Hall, or you can look at my website, voteforlongpham.com. You see my personal cell number. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Pham. The first group of candidates that will have a dialogue with them are candidates for the Arlington City Council. Okay? For District 1, there are 3 candidates, but 2 are present today. Dr. Tim Goss and Mr. Mauricio Galante. Please come forward. For District 7, we have 2 candidates. Both are here today, Mr. Bowie Hawk and Mr. Chris Dobie Dobson. We have some basic ground rules, so we can keep the flow going and the dialogue constructive, okay? 1 minute opening and 1 minute closing statement, okay? That's what you have, 1 minute opening and 1 minute closing. There are 3 questions prepared by a committee of 4 or 5 individuals, okay? Not by Andy Wynn, by a committee of this church. You have 1 minute to respond to each question. 1 minute. Susan will help keep you on track as far as time is concerned, so make sure you stay with the timekeeper. Overall, we have about 25 minutes to complete this dialogue. Okay, are you all ready to begin? Okay.
That's hard for this group. I will use words.
Okay. So I'm going to start with Mr. Hawk for the first question. Is that okay?
First question or introduction?
Oh, I'm sorry. Introduction. That's what I meant. Go ahead.
I'll always start. Thank you, Andy. Thank you to the church for doing this. It's an important factor that more people need to get involved. My name's Bowie Hogg, born and raised here in Arlington, Texas, along with my wife. Went to schools here, went to Texas A&M. I went to Arlington. My wife went to Payne Diego Christian, and we've chosen to raise our family here. We have a 7-year-old, 9-year-old daughters. We're active members at First Baptist Church of Arlington, and we believe in giving back to the city. And that's why I'm running. I served on school board for many years. Thought my time was coming to an end and I was going to step, and then I was asked and requested to run for council, and I see the changes we have to make and work on. And I love this town, and I love working for this town and making sure we have the right principles in place for office, because governing's hard. It's hard to get elected. It's even harder to govern once a time. Once you're actually serving in office, that's when the real hard work begins. Because there's a lot of opinions, and we are representing all the citizens in Arlington to make decisions. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Chris Dobson. I've been running here for office in Arlington for 14 years. Raised here in Arlington, have a kid, a family, and it's nice to have an opportunity to explicitly discuss one of the great threats to America, and that is Christian nationalism. It is ahistorical, it is un-American, and it is apostasy. So it's good that we have a chance to have these important discussions. Remember, your faith preventing your action is humility before your God. Your faith preventing my actions is a form of oppression. And so I'd just like to say it is an opportune time to discuss this in America, as we see billionaire dollars coming into our communities, trying to change the way we do politics. Thank you very much.
I'm gonna try this one here.
I think it's stuck on someone's chair.
It's someone's foot. There you go.
Hey, Bobby, take your foot away from it.
Oh, well, my name is Mauricio Galante. I'm happy to be here. Thank you all for coming. Long came to the country with $15 in his pocket, right? 20 years ago, I came to the country with $100 in my pocket. And I had to start from scratch with 33 years old. And American Dream brought me to the American Dream City. So I'm honored to have a business in Arlington, a brick and mortar business. We serve more than 14,000 members of our community in North Arlington. It's called the Glove Center of Arlington. My beautiful wife is here supporting, my good friends, and he's a good friend too. And we're running for office because we want to give back to the community. Like Bowie said, giving back to the community is the best thing we can do, because the community gives so much to us when we had to start from scratch 10 years ago. Business is doing good, strong. Now it's time to serve the community, serving the City Council District 1, and make things happen. There's a lot of things happening, and we want to be part of it, and we want to serve you honorably. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Tim Goss, and I'm running for District 1 as well. And thank you, Grace Church, for giving us an opportunity to come and talk to you a little bit about who we are and why we're running. Pretty much I've dedicated my entire adult life to serving in some form or fashion, whether it's through my church, Pee Wee soccer, forums and commissions, things of that nature within the government. And I derive great pleasure from serving people. I assure you my heart's in the right place, and you know, you don't gain anything from running for city office other than the satisfaction that you are running for the people, and you have to keep that at the forethought of your thinking process. I'm a small business owner. I am a federal employee. I have city government experience, and most importantly, I'm a child of God. So every bit of my being and my decisions are tendered in the process of understanding God and trying to do the right thing by Him in the Bible. So.
Thank you, Kenny. Mr. Dobson, the first question will go to you. How will your faith impact the decisions over political correctness as a council member?
So I guess I should mention at this point that I am not a Christian. My faith comes from a different place. one of reason, that we as people can think and discuss with each other the issues of the day. There is not an on high answer given to us that is given to some people who spread it to others. Instead, I believe that the more people we get involved in discussions, the better the result becomes. We must take into account the voices of different people, different communities, in order to achieve what's called the wisdom of the crowd, which is to say that the more people involved, the closer you come to approximating the correct answer. This is a situation where we have to ensure that every member of our community is heard and validated, and none are left out.
Mr. Galante, same question. How will your faith impact the decisions over political correctness as a council member?
I am a Christian conservative. We go to the First United Methodist Church in Arlington, North Arlington, and I believe that integrity and principles are more important than profit and fame. So I am serving the community. I'm part of the Rotary Club. So we help so many groups through the golf center, the Special Olympics golfers, so many kids from high school. We donate to several entities, and we have the opportunity to see the impact we cause when we donate and when we engage ourselves with those groups and make them more successful. And we serve the community with that. So my faith is based on giving back to everything I got, because I consider myself a blessed person. If there's anybody here in this building today, I know for sure, for myself, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the grace of God. And grow up in a country very, very poor. I put my first shoes in my foot with 16 years old, and I'm here today with the grace of God.
Thank you, Mr. Galante. Dr. Paul, same question, sir.
Repeat the question.
How will your faith impact your decisions over political correctness as a council member?
So I really feel that political correctness is a political narrative, and we really don't have any place for that in the city council. I think if you love your neighbor, you love your citizens and your voters, that everything that you do should be tendered in making that decision that does the least harm, because ultimately you can't not cause somebody some uncomfort when you're working in government. So you try to find the path of least resistance a lot of times, and where you can find that consensus. Because really what it boils down to is, can you work with the other council members, and can you try to do the best you can do with what you have available to you. I am a Christian. I'm proud to be a Christian. I try to walk in Jesus' faith. I'm not perfect. Make a lot of mistakes. I mean, that's just what we do. And if it weren't for him, we have no chance to live beyond this world. So all of my thoughts and decisions are tendered in kind of that love for humanity and for the people that I hope to serve.
Thank you. Mr. Hall?
Thank you. And one of my council colleagues said, I report to all the citizens. And it's true from a voting, but I actually report to one person, and that's God, right? That's who I decide. And it's the only person up here who's actually governed. I think I've proven to step out when it's not politically correct. Now, it doesn't mean you don't listen to every single person in the community, and you try and find some balance, but you have to look at issues, and you have to say, what do you believe from your integrity and your principles are the right path to go for? And I always tell people, there's a reason you don't have to win elections with 100%. And you don't have to win that, because no matter what you do, and representing the entire city of Arlington, former representing the whole school district, someone's going to be mad at you every single time, no matter what vote you make. So you have to look at yourself and be very strong and very confident in what you're doing and your beliefs, while still listening to every single resident and trying to find a balance, but choosing on what you believe and from your morals and principles what is the right path. And you can't let political correctness just be that driving factor.
The second question will go to you, Mr. Galante. This is a two-part question, okay? In 2021, the City Council changed the proclamation policy from all City Council members approving the proclamations to the mayor having the sole authority. A, do you believe one person should decide on all proclamations over the entire city? And if not, B, what will you do to change that?
Very good question, Andy. We are representing the people, and one person represents a fraction of these people. So more representation, more people deciding and making a vote and decide what proclamations should be done, there will be more representation for the whole citizens, the whole residents of the city. So what I will do, I will work hard and to talk to the council members, all the council members, and work hard with the mayor and try to show him and convince him and this other city councils that we need to have decisions made in group, the whole city council. And that's my position on that.
Thank you. Dr. Goff, same question, sir.
No, one person shouldn't be making the decisions. That's why we have a council. Not really sure why that happened, but I wasn't there. And I would just say that we need to come together as a council and try to discuss this with the mayor and let him know that you represent all the city, of course, but we have separate districts that have separate needs, and you might want to bring their input into the decision process for that. We have a council to do that, so we just need to make sure that we're leveraging that expertise, that knowledge, and the differences within our districts to make sure that we're making the right decision for all of the city.
It's proclamations and resolutions, and this happened right before I got on council, and I was a little always confused why it happened. And I just faced a big challenge because I asked the mayor, and I had to go to the mayor and ask to do a proclamation for something. And I think there's a way where he can do his own proclamations, right? You can still have a mayor's proclamation, but what we need to add is an element for one that can come from the entire council and the mayor's group together. That's something I'm trying to convince, and listen, you learn quickly, you can't do anything in a silo. You have to do it with your colleagues. And the colleagues you're elected with, I am one of 9 votes. And it's very important to have people up there with you who are supporting you in what you are trying to do. So I do think the mayor can still do some basic proclamations, some basic things that he wants to do, but I think there also needs to be a level where the mayor and council can issue one as a whole together across the board is how I think we need to move forward with this and have some action.
Thank you, Mr. Hawk. Mr. Dobson?
So proclamations don't carry the weight of law. They are just statements. And so I don't see a problem with the mayor being able to issue them, nor do I see a problem with the council being able to issue them. However, I do think they should be unanimous from the council. When you're talking about a group, you have to take into each member of that group to get their consent. I don't believe in issuing a proclamation in someone else's name. This issue I think was mostly around Pride Month. And it's important that we acknowledge the absolute right of homosexuals, queers, every type of person in our modern society. Again, your faith can prohibit you from action, but it cannot prohibit others. It is so important as American citizens. Dang it, that stop sign.
But thank you for respecting the time. Thank you. The third question goes to you first, Dr. Goff. What is your most passionate idea about changing or improving Arlington? And give an example of what you would propose to accomplish that idea.
That's a great question, and some of this is founded in being a little selfish. I want to make Arlington the best place to work, live, play, and raise a family, and primarily because I have an 8-year-old daughter, and I'm an older dad, and I hope that she can seek her fortune here in Arlington and not move away, take my grandbabies away, and I just want to keep her close to me here in Arlington. But as far as just kind of what I've seen across the district, I think the biggest need, we've done a great job with multifamily housing and all of that. Now we need to bring in the complementary elements like small businesses, jobs, retail, hotels and restaurants in order to kind of meet the need of the people that we're bringing in, because we're bringing in thousands of new residents. So we need to go ahead and support them and make sure that our apartments and stuff don't turn into crime centers later. Thank you.
Mr. Hawk?
Thank you, and great question. And you have to have ideas that have action, but you also have to have some dreaming ideas of what you're going to do. Because sometimes I always say it's really hard to move dirt, and moving dirt is actually getting action on there. So it's a couple of balances. The first thing we always have to focus on, and right now I feel when I last year, it's how are our streets staying safe. I tell people right now the most dangerous place to be is driving through an intersection in Arlington. The amount of people running, and we are pressing the police on this. And honestly, we need more police in patrol. We need more patrol officers going through there. But then when you start going into dreaming ideas of what we need, it comes into some of these things of redevelopment. How do we tear down some dilapidated buildings that are troubling, that cause issues, that go there, but then that also balances into what can also be done on design. Some of those things we're looking at is form-based codes. And form-based code is a way to really take an old dilapidated center that's not producing, it's not doing, and really give it a full redesign to make it attractive for developers to come in and issue redevelopment. That stop sign comes quick.
Yeah, it does.
It comes fast.
You can see why people run it.
I know. Okay, that was a good job.
All right, so I guess I've been kind of working over this idea over the years that I've run. You know, one thing I would really like to see is for people to come and visit Arlington for who we are and how we choose to govern ourselves. Not because we have stadiums and entertainment districts. And I think one of the big steps that will get us in that direction is really expanding our app, Ask Arlington, to do real opinion polling of our residents so that the council knows what they're desiring, what opinions they would like to see for different projects. But furthermore, I'd like to see that expanded to include petitioning online. Right now, you have to go out and collect 11,000 signatures in the heat. I prefer to do that online and allow people to express their opinions and their voice on as many things as possible in Arlington. We have a problem with our representative democratic system. Sometimes they don't express our points of view. But direct democracy is the cure for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dawson. Mr. Galante?
Can I say 2 projects in 1 minute, 30 seconds a project? So I'm proud to be endorsed by the Arlington Police Association and the Arlington Board of Realtors for a reason. They know I'm a man of action. We took a business that was run down and we turned it into a top 50 business in the country. So first, I'm attending the Arlington Police Citizens Academy, and I'm learning in depth what the police needs to better serve you. I would like to see the flock cameras all over the city. So we have 400 flock cameras. We need 1,200. We need 800 more. This is a project that is dear to me, and I'll be working tirelessly every day to accomplish. Second, Division Street. There's the Discover Division plan that is sitting there for 12 years. Nothing's being done on Division. We want to have a historical overlay division and become the Bankhead Highway right here in Arlington. And we want to bring business back. We want to build the biggest classic car show in the nation using the historic overlay to empower businesses in the community and take care of the eyesore division that is long overdue.
Thank you. Obviously, you're very passionate about Division Street. Okay.
I'm a history junkie.
Okay. We are running ahead of schedule. It's amazing, a candidate forum that is ahead of schedule. So I'm going to give you each candidate 30 seconds to elaborate on whatever ideas that you feel like you need to elaborate with the audience. Who want to start? Mr. Hall?
Oh, let's start back. Okay.
Okay.
You know, I'll go back and touch on the first part. America was founded not as a religious country. The treaty we signed in Tripoli said that we are in no way a Christian nation. We have a specific prevention for a religious test for any public office. The people who founded this Constitution named the seat of our capital, the District of Columbia, a Greco-Roman goddess that they created. D.C., right? Washington, D.C. All right, thanks.
Yeah. Bobby's good on that. Go ahead, Bobby, you're good on that.
Thank you. Thank you to this group for doing this. And let me expand on just saying, the first thing we have to do, and I want to expand on, is what we're doing on neighborhood integrity. I think sometimes it's easy as a council to get caught up in some of the things that are happening that are driving what we used to call other people's money, sales tax driven and some of those things. And we have to push for those, but we also have to always take into account our neighborhoods of what is happening. When you look at the world of density right now, right? I'm a believer in letting the market speak for itself, but on the same note, the market, the only thing they're honing on are multifamilies right now. So you have to push those, but you have to make sure it doesn't affect the integrity of the neighborhoods. That's all the stop sign.
30 seconds, right? Go ahead.
I'm gonna finish there. The Division Street, the historic Division Street. Knowing that things take time to get implemented. I've been working already for 2 years, been attending most of the city council meetings, the afternoon meetings, and talking to people. We honored to be endorsed by Mr. Semaruk. He owns majority of the business at Division Street, and he likes the idea of us talking to all stakeholders and getting this done. So I've been working already in this project 2 years, even before running for office, because I know day one we hit the ground, we get going, baby.
Dr. Goss?
So, I mean, really, like I said, I'm a public servant. I believe that in order to get anything done in the city, you really have to have a consensus and you have to work together. You can't go out there with just your idea and go, this is what's going to happen, because sometimes you're going to turn people off to that. You have to really be able to work with people. My focus, if I get into office, is going to be fostering job growth, trying to bring more retail and other types of complementary elements into North Arlington. And granted, it's a narrow focus just in our district, but still some of that may impact the rest of the city.
Thank you.
Please stop sign
Now we are at the closing statement. Mr. Galante, why don't you go ahead and start with your closing statement?
This guy. I talked too much already.
Well, I'm gonna stand up on that. Thank you so much. I first praise the Lord and thank Lord for us to be here today. And like-minded people, like Tobin says here, there's a lot of people with differences that think different than me, that dress different than me, that believe different than me, but I respect every single one. And in my childhood, it was so hard. I grew up poor, and we didn't have nothing to eat from 7 to 10 years old. And guess who brought the food to that table? And that single mother that was trying to make it, it was people different than us. Yes, it was the gays, it was the prostitutes, it was people that God, some people think that God forgot them. But God takes care of these people first. And we all have the obligation to honor Him and do good for other people. So serving, like Bowie said, is hard, but with the grace of God, with a smile on your face and faith, and talking to people, reaching out to everybody, empowering everybody, we can make it happen. May 4th, vote Mauricio Galante. May the 4th be with Mauricio.
Dr. Goss.
Paul, my colleague here. I just want to say, I love Arlington. I have a servant's heart. I really want to serve the people. That's what I do even when I'm not running for office, because this is my first time. If you've ever done it, or if you haven't done it, yeah, it's a thankless job sometimes, because it doesn't matter what you do. Some people aren't going to like you, and then sometimes you do stupid stuff and they still like you. I don't get that. We're just here to serve and hopefully bring kind of some good sense and experience. I've got a lot of government experience. I've served on the bond committee, and I just bring a wealth of knowledge and education to the council. On top of that, I'm trying to feather the nest for my daughter in the future, my grandbabies. I just want Arlington to be the crown jewel of the United States, so that when people come here, they want to come to Arlington, not Dallas, not Fort Worth. They come to Arlington because we are the best place to live, work, play, and raise a family. Thank you.
I'll follow suit and I'll stand up here. So thank you for hosting this, and thank you for this time. Running for office is important. And it's important to get out and campaign, because you get to talk to people and hear more insights than you do. Mr. Dobson and I have known each other since high school. We obviously don't agree on a lot of things, and that's okay. That's a good thing, because we represent all citizens in Arlington. And even if you don't disagree with me, I feel like everyone would always say, I'm always willing to listen and always have to have the conversation and justify where I believe on that. And I think those are important. And like I said, governing's hard work. I've been doing this. I understand how to do it. I understand the role of constituent services. I understand the role of actually getting action within a city without city staff sometimes strong-arming you. And it's hard to do. And governing work is hard. And I feel like I'm doing that, and I'm a proven commodity that brings them in, and someone who wants the best for the city and is going to work with everyone in the city to try and find the best path forward for that. I thank you so much. I encourage you to go out and vote Bowie Hogg, District 7, the entire city of Arlington. You can vote. Thank you.
Mr. Dobson.
Well, I do want to thank y'all for having me today. I do want to correct Bowie Hogg just real quick. We actually played soccer together when we were 4 or 5. So the Dukes of Hazzard, yeah. So that would be 1983. Yeah, long time. But as I stated before, I think we really need to work as a city on city engagement. I see the surveys that are put out that get minimal responses. I go to different forums and events. Again, minimal response. We have to reach out and go to where our residents are. We cannot expect people to be perfect or to come to us. And so I think it's important that we put out information in as many languages as we speak here in Arlington, that we approach as many people as possible to get their opinions before we take action. Just allowing people our up and down vote is a token level of control. We really need to allow our residents into the process to improve it. Vote Dobby. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's give our candidates a hand, please. Is Miss Melody Fowler?
Was he a goalie?
No.
We're going to be able to ask any questions to the candidates.
That's the breakout form, and then at the end of the 30 minutes.
Yes, the last 30 minutes you will have a chance to engage the candidates at their table.
Yeah. So Melody didn't make it. Okay. All right, so we have 3, 6.
So the next forum is for the Arlington School Board of Trustees. For place 2, there are 2 candidates. Ms. Fowler isn't here today. We do have Ms. Kendall Orr with us. And for place 3, there are 3 candidates. We have Ms. Kathy Arocha here with us, and Ms. William Moore also is here with us. April William Moore. Thank you, my apology. Same rule, you have 1 minute to open and 1 minute to close. There are 3 questions prepared by a committee. You have 1 minute to respond. And please adhere to the timekeeper. Susan, raise your hand. And we have about 20 minutes to go through this dialogue. So I will open up with Ms. Orr. Would you please go through your opening statement, please?
Hello. Thank you for being here. My name is Kendall Orr, and I'm running for place 2. And one of the reasons that I am running is for parental involvement and engagement. I believe that is a really big priority. The Texas School Code states that we are partners with the administrators, with the educators, and the board of trustees. And I believe that the district has failed in that. And I know if we become partners with the parents, that's going to bring a lot of change in our community and the discipline issues that we're having and knowing how the school system works. And that's one of the reasons that I'm running, so vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Orr. Ms. Arocha.
Hi, my name is Kathy Arocha, and I am running for place 3. The reason that I am running, well, a little bit about myself. I have about 26 plus years in the business side, lots of corporate, compliance, regulatory, and so forth. And my reason for running is because I really do want to inspire kids. I want to mentor them to become successful. There's, I come from a background of, humble beginnings. We'll just say that. And I believe that it doesn't matter where you start; it matters where you end. So I want to be able to inspire kids and as well as engage the community and all together, everyone. And one of the things that I will promise is that I will always listen with nonpartisan ears, no matter what, to try to bring solutions. And so my goal is to speak with everyone and to make sure that I am the voice of the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Moore?
Hi, is this on?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm April Williams-Moore, and I am, I'm a product of a single mother. My mother worked 2 jobs when I was young, and so I thank God for my grandmother and the leadership and how she raised me. I have 3 children, 18, 14, and 6. I am a wife of a public school principal. I have 4 degrees, with my highest being a master's in supply chain management, and I've worked in corporate America for over 2 decades in business and finance. I serve currently on the Family Engagement Council with Arlington, and I have volunteered over 400 hours in our schools. And so I know what's needed. There are some opportunities that our district has, and I have strength in those areas, and so I decided to run. And so I hope you early vote in April for April.
In April for April. Okay. The first question, we'll start with you, Ms. Arocha. How will your faith impact your decisions over political correctness as a trustee?
Well, my guiding principles is truth and transparency and integrity. I believe that you have to be truthful of the issues, no matter what it is, good, bad, or ugly. It doesn't matter. And I believe that you have to listen to everybody. We have a very diverse community, and we have to make sure that we're listening to everybody, because we all go to the public school. All our kids are going to the public school. And so we want to make sure that we, when we work on these issues or concerns, that we are going to make practice or policies that's going to be a win-win for all. Will we satisfy everybody? Of course not. But the goal is to let's get together and let's go ahead and just move forward and deal with the issues that are most concerning, and let's just get down to work and get these kids educated and make them the leaders that they need to become.
Thank you. Ms. Moore?
So I'm still working on political correctness, okay? I'm still learning that in this campaign. I know when making decisions, first I have to make decisions what are right for individually my heart and what I can sleep with, but also what's best for everybody as a whole. I know that being a parent, seeing education transition from how it was when my 18-year-old was in elementary to how it was at 14 and 6, education has changed drastically. And so I want to make sure that even if I don't agree with you, that you feel heard. I want to make sure that when I am making decisions, regardless of how I teach my children in my home, I'm making decisions for everybody. And so it may not be how I would make it in my home, but I know that I want to make sure that I am giving a voice to everyone in our community. And again, it still has to sit right with my heart.
Thank you. Ms. Award?
I know when it comes to political correctness, my Christian values, I'm going to use those to govern that. Our rights and our liberties are given from God and not the government. So when I think about political correctness, I believe God's given me a role, to see that those rights are diligently protected.
Yes.
Thank you. We will start the second question with you, okay, Ms. Moore?
Okay.
You good with that?
I'm great.
Okay. This is a hard one.
Oh, Lord.
In 2021, about 42,000 children and teens across the United States receive a diagnosis of gender dysphoria, nearly triple the number from 2017. Do you believe there should be a policy with guidelines addressing what teachers and counselors can or cannot say to students about gender confusion or transgenderism? And if there is not a policy, what will you do? I told you it's hard.
I know. So I don't believe that we should deprive parents of parental responsibility. I know that it is important right now for many of my neighbors, many of my community members, that they want a policy. And so if they want a policy, I believe that's what the district should give, is a policy. Now, we would need to go and really communicate and interact and say what type of policy is it that you're wanting, right? Because it's crucial to make sure that we have every child feeling safe, that we have every child not feeling alienated, and that we're being respectful of the community as a whole.
Thank you. Ms. Orr, would you like me to repeat the question? In 2021, about 42,000 children and teens across the United States received a diagnosis of gender dysphoria, nearly triple the number from 2017. Do you believe there should be a policy with guidelines addressing what teachers and counselors can or cannot say to students about gender confusion or transgenderism? And if there is not a policy, what will you do?
As a Christian parent, I believe those are my parental rights on how I want to raise my children. So I wouldn't want a counselor, an educator talking to my children. They would leave that to me. I've spoken to some teachers that are Christian as well, who feel uncomfortable, and they do want a policy in place. So that's something that I would want to put in place so there won't be any gray areas.
Thank you. Ms. Arocha.
Okay. You know, I've had many discussions about this, and I've had a lot of teachers say, you know what, we're just here to teach. We're just here to teach, and whatever any kind of moral values or social values, that needs to go back to the parents. I believe that. You know, we do live in a diverse community, right, guys? We just do. And we have to address the elephant in the room. And I believe that, you know, when it comes to transgenderism, LGBTQ, whatever, it is about parental rights. It is about their right to raise their child however they want. And it's also, it's not about, hey, you're not doing it right versus the other. It has nothing to do with that. But because this has been a big topic, I believe that we need to address it. We need to address it. We need to discuss, well, okay, maybe we do need guidelines to just say, hey, you know, which way are we going to go? We need to work together to get to that guideline. So that way, again, like she mentioned, there's no gray area.
Thank you. We'll start the third question with you, Ms. Orr. A law was passed to not teach critical race theory in K through 12. But some teachers managed to find ways around the law. What are one or two ways when you are elected that you can do to ensure that CRT is not taught in our schools?
I believe we need to focus on educating our children with basic subjects such as math, history, language arts, and all these social issues, or they just need to stay out of the classroom. You know, they shouldn't have a place. And those are the type of things that I want to teach my kids, because we all have different perspectives when it comes to that. So, I mean, 4 + 4 is 4, right? So that, y'all can teach my child that. But anything else, you know, leave that to me and the parents as well.
Thank you. Ms. Arocha.
First of all, I mean, CRT, shocking for some maybe, CRT in its original context was a good thing. It is about racism in our laws. It's part of our history. And so I believe that, I mean, the way people are like, okay, it's taught differently. I'm all about teaching history for the way it is, but the way things have, it's kind of been changing to where it's focused more on your skin and, you're oppressing and things like that. That's what I'm getting. But when it comes to theories like this, I believe that it was about, racism in the law. And that's why we've passed a lot of laws. We got the civil rights. We've come a long way. And so stopping it, number one, we have to be compliant with the law and make sure that we're adhering to the law in our policies. That's the bottom line. And that's what I would want to do.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Moore?
I believe that history should be taught based on what actual facts. That's for one thing. A second thing is I believe that we need to focus on achievement. Again, the state has set forth guidelines to say this is what your child is for an A. This is what level they should be at this grade level. However, I don't know about you, but when I graduated, I have nephews who graduate now, so that was 30 years ago. I was straight A's, top 10%. I have nephews, I have neighbors' children, top 10%. You go to college, you take the math placement test, guess what? We're in remedial school. Why are we in remedial classes when we're top 10% of our classes? Because they're not working with the universities of Texas and making sure that our children are not wasting credit hours and money, not being able to get high enough scores on their math and their writing assessments. So I really believe that you should be a master. I believe in being a subject matter expert and not a jack of all trades.
Okay. Ms. Moore, pick up that microphone again. You have 1 minute to make a closing statement, please.
Okay. I thank you guys for your time. I am, again, I'm really, really strong in my Christian faith. I don't always, to me, have to elevate that as much because I know for me, if you're around me, if you see my actions, if you even ask anyone about me, I believe, like they say, the tree, the fruits, you can know the tree by the fruit it bears. And so that's my heart. I have a servant heart. I've been in Arlington ISD schools over 400 hours this year alone. And I didn't get paid for those hours to be there with your kid, to hug them when they needed a hug, to ensure them, to encourage them. But that's what my heart was leading me to do. And I know that I have made an impression on our schools this year of being on the Family Engagement Council and in the schools. But let me tell you the difference between the impression and impact. Impact lasts a lifetime. Thank you, Ms. Susan.
Thank you. Ms. Aloja, you have 1 minute.
Okay, well, I will say that I am a born-again believer, and I'm not ashamed of it. And my principles is about transparency and truth. It is also working with others, talking with others, and understanding where everyone is coming from. And I am currently an AISD substitute, so I've learned a lot of stuff being boots on the ground. And I see things that, golly, we really got to work at this because our teachers they're not happy, or some of them are like, hey, we're doing really great. There's just a lot of things that are happening. Our kids are just going through so much. And so I believe because of that insight that I can bring that to the board. And again, like I mentioned, I am a candidate that will listen with nonpartisan ears because I believe that every voice matters. I believe that we got to work together to win together. That's the bottom line. Otherwise, we are just always going to be going this way instead of going forward. And that's the goal, what I want to bring to the board.
I too am born again. I gave my life to Christ when I was 29 years old. And I believe I'm being called. This is a calling for me. I have a love for children, and when I think about being in the school board and I think about the kids, I think about eternity, and that's where my mind is at. The eternal things that are going to impact these kids. And so I know from my heart, if I'm elected, my governance will be led by my Christian values. And because I am a Christian, you love everybody. Everybody's made and created in the image of God. So you love and respect people regardless of their race, their economical status, their gender identity. You love them because you know Christ loves them as well. So anyway, I believe I will make a difference, and I will love on everybody's kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give them a hand. Thank you. The next forum is the Mansfield School Board of Trustees.
Y'all come sit down and I'll put it in front of you. Just wherever y'all want to sit. So Michelle. Good, good.
For place 1 of Mansfield ISD, there are 2 candidates, and both are here with us today. Ms. Michelle Newsom, Mr. Matthew Husberg. For place 2 of Mansfield ISD, there are also 2 candidates, and both are here with us. Ms. Jandel Crutchfield. You bring a whole cheerleading squad with you. And Dr. Angel Hidalgo. We have about 27 minutes to go through this dialogue. Same rules, 1 minute opening and 1 minute closing, and you have 1 minute to respond to the questions. The same 3 questions prepared by the committee, so you do have a little bit of an advantage to know what the questions are, okay? But I'm gonna mix it up in order a little bit. So the first introductory remark, let's start with you, Ms. Newsom.
Well, thank you so much for having me today. This is a great event. We're excited to get to be able to be included in some Arlington events, being that we're in MISD. So a little about me, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, and I'm a grandmother. I'm very excited to say. I've served on the board for 9 years, and I'm excited to be able to take my experience on my work, my experience as a nurse, and running a business, to be able to bring that to the Mansfield ISD School Board and continue my service. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Husband.
Hi, my name is Matt Herzberg. I'm grateful to be here also to be included in part of the Arlington forums. I am a servant. That is everything that I've done in my entire career and my entire life has been serving. I've served as a teacher, an assistant principal, and a principal in Mansfield ISD for 14 years. I've served on site-based committees. I've served in the classroom, and that is what I intend to continue to do on school board, is to serve. I have 2 kids that are currently in the district in 5th grade and 2nd grade, and I'm someone that fights for public schools. My entire part of service has been serving and fighting for public schools, and that's what I intend to continue to do on the school board. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Crutchfield.
So during this campaign, I've gotten to celebrate a very exciting milestone, and I know y'all are like, the election hasn't happened yet, so we'll be celebrating. But in March of 1994, I decided to become a Christian at the age of 11. And so last month marked 30 years of me walking with God. And so the way I set up my life is as a servant. And so I know sometimes people look down on servants, but we know that Jesus was a servant. And so for me, working out my faith looks like serving others. And so I've been doing that since I was 11. I went on to choose a profession of service, social work. And so I worked as a social worker in public schools, and now I'm a professor of social work after earning my PhD. There, I'm training the next generation of social workers to also serve in schools. And so as we have been here 6 years, my family and I have kids in Mansfield ISD, and so I've gotten to serve with lots of the parents I see out in the audience and see staff up close. And so I ask you to support me in place 2 to be able to bring that vision of service to the school board.
Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Hidalgo?
Thank you. If I don't see you, it's because I like you in my eyes. I am from Cuba. I immigrated to the United States in 1995. I wrote the book about my country, dictatorship. I became American citizen in 2001, and then I started working in education. First, as a student, and also as a special education teaching for 7 years in Stephen Middle School. Then I moved to college, I got my master's degree in UNT, and then my PhD in Oklahoma. I'm working for more than 20 years in education, always here in the United States. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll start this dialogue with you, Mr. Husband. Is that okay with you? Okay. In 2021, about 42 children and teens across the United States receive a diagnosis of gender dysphoria, nearly triple the number from 2017. Do you believe there should be a policy with guidelines addressing what the teachers can say and not say about to the students, about gender confusion, about transgenderism? And if there's not a policy currently at the school district, what will you do about that?
First, I do want to say that I believe that parents are the first people that should be in control of their children and should decide how their child is presented to the world and with their child as part of that team. When students come to school, they're with other adults, and all of us have different opinions and different thoughts and feelings on the subject of transgenderism. And if there is a policy to be put into place, I would want to make sure that it protects our students, our transgender students, our LGBTQ plus IA students, and that it not only outlines what adults can say, but also protects them, protects the students, protects the teachers, so everybody knows exactly what their role is at school. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Clutchfield, same question.
As a school board member, I think my main role would be to support staff and to support students. And so I think our teachers have a lot on their plate already in terms of other people dictating what they should say and what they can't say. And so in that way, I would be asking teachers if this is an issue, right? And so I don't believe in creating policies just to create policies. If it's not actually a challenge that they're facing, then it's not something that needs to be addressed. I think that protecting teachers, protecting students that come into our schools as they are, I think means being sure that they have a place to go. And so if a student that is a member of the LGBTQ plus community wants to come and talk to a teacher, hopefully they'll be able to guide them to the right place where they can seek help as a counselor. I've been a social worker that's worked with students in schools that have had some of these concerns, and so we hope that we have a supportive environment for those students or those staff that they feel protected in our schools.
Thank you. Dr. Hidalgo?
Thank you. I think like you start to that question, but we know the question already. I think we need to start to play politics in the school, because I think this is a good talking point, because the school already have law for discrimination, and I don't think the teacher need to talk with a student about that. I think this is more for parents and counselors. And I always say, when I'm inside the room, I always see a student working together, collaborate each other, and I don't see in my 20-year plus any problem about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will say that a parent is a child's very first teacher, and it should be that way. You are the first one to teach your children about how they treat other people and how they treat themselves, and everything about this world. You're the first one, and so it should stay that way. And it is not the role of the school to be able to intervene there. I did have an opportunity while I've been on the school board to have this exact issue brought up for us. And I will say that I do believe our policies do already protect everyone. If we felt that we weren't protecting students and that something was going wrong in the classroom or on campuses, I believe any of us would stand up and interject. But I do believe that we have appropriate policy in place to protect all students and to protect parent rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Newsom. We will start the second question with you, Ms. Crutchfield. A law was passed to not teach CRT in K through 12, but some teachers manage to find ways around the law. What are one or two ways, if and when you are elected, that you can do to ensure that CRT is not taught in our school?
Thank you. So I've understood CRT to be something that's taught in higher ed, and so if it is something that's taught in K-12, or that teachers are trying to teach that's not in agreement with the law, then I think that we should do anything that we would do any other time that there's something that's not in agreement with the law, is to have someone else, not us as a school board member, right, but to work with that person. I think though that an approach that I have in terms of being nonpartisan on the school board means that we're not creating policies that are dictated to us from any type of political stance, right? And so if we're going to ask teachers to do stuff, let's make sure it's actually going to help our students with their academic performance, or help us to be able to meet all of these guidelines that the Texas Education Agency is placing upon our districts, or to help our teachers get the raises that they deserve. That's where I think we should lean in terms of being on the school board to support staff in those policies.
Thank you. Dr. Hidalgo, same question.
I want to be very fast and clear. I don't believe in this kind of stuff because look at me here in front of all of you. I don't think America is discrimination society or racist society. In my belief, it's not true. This is the reason I've been very successful here. When I'm going to say something, it never happened to me and I never see it in front of me. This is the reason I don't think in the school we need to teach or let the teacher say something like that. Thank you.
Just want to make sure I'm...
A law was passed to not teach CRT, critical race theory, from K through 12. But some teachers manage to find ways around the law. What are one or two ways you can do to ensure that CRT is not taught in our school?
In Mansfield ISD, we create our own curriculum. We don't purchase curriculum, and we make sure that we adhere by the curriculum that we have within the district. And so ensuring that the teachers are following the rules and the policies and the guidelines that we set in place are really what we are charged to do as a board member. We're not in the classroom, we're not in the schools, we're not standing there every day making those minute by minute decisions, but by making sure as a board that we are putting up policy and curriculum that supports what we believe is best for them to pass all of these tests. So STAR test, all of their end of semester tests. These things are very important. We've got to get kids to where they can reach their educational goals. This shouldn't be what we're focusing on.
Thank you. We'll start the third and final question with you, Doctor. I'm sorry. You didn't get a chance?
And I would love a chance.
You give him a chance? Okay, we'll give you a chance.
During my graduate school coursework for my doctorate in education, there was a small section on CRT, and it really is a graduate level thing from my understanding. I do understand that the definition has expanded and has become a kind of a political hot potato in schools. I think that in Mansfield ISD, there is a robust curriculum that teachers follow. Like Ms. Houston said, it was created by the district, it wasn't purchased. And so that insulates the district in some ways from that. And it's also, if it's a law, then there should be policy that follows that law, and that our administrators and principals help to make sure that that is followed, and that we are educating students in the TEKS so they can pass their tests and graduate and be successful.
Thank you. Dr. Hidalgo, the final question, we'll start with you. How will your faith impact your decisions over political correctness as a trustee?
I always believe in something more power than me. And right now, I believe in that, more strong, because look at the opportunity I have, and every time I'm thinking about it, it's because I know it's something more bigger than me. Many people call God, and other people call Allah, guide me to do it, to tell me, do something. United States give you everything to you. You become a successful educator. Now give to the student what the United States gave it to you. This is the reason I think my faith made me to do what I do right now. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Go ahead, ma'am.
I believe my Christian values are shown in every word that I speak, in every choice that I make, in every decision that I ponder upon, and for sure everything that I do as a school board member. I think that people that know me and talk to me would tell you exactly what my heart is. I believe that while that is my faith and my values, I do believe that everybody has something that they bring to the table that is their own, and being respectful of what that is. I believe that we all are taught to love, and I believe that we're all taught to do the right thing and do unto others as we'd have done unto you. And I believe that we serve, and none of us would be sitting here today if we didn't have a servant's heart and we wanted to do that. But I believe that my Christian values lead me in all my decisions.
Thank you. Mr. Husband?
I am a Christian, and I follow our Savior Jesus Christ. However, on the school board, although I have those values, those Christian values, my decisions on the school board would be all about students first, teachers first, and what our kids and teachers need to be successful. And I've had to make those decisions for 14 years as I was a teacher, assistant principal, and principal. I've made the decisions that are best for kids. I've invited other people into the room to help me make those decisions, people with different opinions, so that when we all come together, we can discuss and we can figure out exactly the best thing that would be the best decision for kids. And that's the compass that I use to guide my decision making as a educator and would be as a school board member.
So faith overcoming political correctness, is that what the question is?
How will your faith impact your decisions over political correctness as a trustee?
Okay, so one of the things I do at my job at UTA is to lead research teams, right? So we conduct research projects looking at data. And so I think some of the challenge with trying to set a vision and determine which goals we need to work on is being able to look at data. And so if there's a challenge that a student is facing, a group of campuses is facing, a group of staff is facing, whatever that challenge is, we have to be courageous enough to face that and to deal with that. And so if it sounds like political correctness, at least we're trying to deal with it. And so in serving others, we have to be willing to put their needs before our own political wants and desires. And I think that is the second greatest commandment, to love your neighbor as yourself. And so in doing that, but that's how my faith, I think I would be able to implement as a board member, serving those who were asked to lead. I think we should first be able to serve them.
Okay. We have some extra time, so I'm going to take some personal privilege as a moderator to ask you a question, and you have 30 seconds to answer this question, okay? We'll start with Ms. Crutchfield. In your assessment, what do you think about the performance of MISD currently? And what areas do you think that can be improved?
That's a great question. So I know we have some shifting metrics with the Texas Education Agency in terms of how we're scored. I believe the last letter grade that we got was a B. And so for me, what I'm seeing is that there are some differences across campuses. And so I would love to know what needs to be done to help fill the gaps. And so again, my background as a social worker, that's the role, is to figure out what the gaps are and to help fill them. And so I think that each campus has different needs. 30 seconds. So I think there are different levels of performance across campuses, so figuring out what those specific campuses need. Sorry.
Thank you. Mr. Hesburgh, go ahead.
Would you repeat the question, please?
I forgot. No, I'm just kidding. What is your assessment of the performance of MISD? And if there are areas of improvements, what are they?
The first year of the A through F report cards, Mansfield ISD was an A-rated district, continued to be an A-rated district until COVID became a B-rated district, but still, Mansfield ISD is seeing its vision as it's a great place to live, learn, and teach. Something that I would want to make sure that we focus on as a board is teacher retention and our staff retention, our paraprofessionals. Our retention rate is not as high as it should be, and I think that's something to focus on.
Thank you. Ms. Newsom?
If you've ever spent any time with me, you know that I am a cheerleader for MISD, and I believe that we have something great to share about what we do every single day with every student in Mansfield ISD. And I do believe that we have a lot to say about our A-rated district. I believe the laws have changed. But I do believe that I can see this from a lot of perspectives, and ensuring that we are making sure that every student has the great same opportunity as everyone else is definitely the challenge at hand.
Thank you. Dr. Hidalgo?
I agree with everything they say. We need to try to keep going in B, try to improve more. Told teacher, try to see what the teacher needs. But also, I talk to people and I knock the door, and they told me something very important. It's about substitute teacher. We need to see how we treat them, because it's important to us also, the substitute teacher, because they go to a school and move to see a student, they're going to see every single day how
You have 1 minute to start your closing statement. We'll start with you, Dr. Hidalgo.
Okay, like I say, I am very proud to be an American citizen. I am very proud of all of you give me the opportunity to talk with you. I love what I do every single day. I am here in front of you to tell you this is my passion. I wake up every single day happy for what I'm going to do, to see a student, talk to them. I teach to a student in Arlington, and then in DCC I have Arlington and Mansfield ISD a student, and I just want to let you know, if you pick me, I'm going to work for the student and teacher. And no matter what, I always tell the student something, the life is beautiful. Thank you.
So thank you all for hosting. My husband Jonathan's out there. So we get this question from my son. He is considering, like the decision I made, becoming a Christian, getting baptized, right? So we're all excited about that. And so our role as parents then is to what? Live before him in a way that models what it looks like to be a Christian, to answer his questions, and to support him in making his own decision. And so I liken that into what I would think of as my role as a board member. My role as a board member and a person of faith is to live before the constituents in my community as a person of honor, as a person that respects everyone that comes into this district, including their choice of how they are going to walk out their own lives. And so that's what I can promise you, to continue to be a servant as I have, to respect and to make sure everyone in our district feels welcome. With my background in higher ed, understanding what it means to be college ready, but also having worked in K-12 and understanding what it means to serve there as well. And so April 22nd, just 2 weeks from tomorrow, you guys can cast your vote for me if you live in Mansfield ISD.
Thank you. Mr. Husband.
I've been serving the Mansfield ISD community since 2009. Like I said, as a teacher, administrator in Mansfield ISD, my wife also has taught and served in Mansfield ISD. My kids go to Mansfield ISD. We are in the community of Mansfield ISD. And my heart for service is what is making me run for school board and for each and every student in Mansfield. I've served in every area of Mansfield. In Arlington, I've served in Mansfield, I've served in Grand Prairie at several different schools. And the communities are vibrant and incredible, and that is the essence of Mansfield ISD. And I hope that the experience that you see that I bring can be a good thing for the board, and that you come out and vote for me on April 22nd. Through April 30th, and then on May 4th.
Ms. Newsom?
I want to make sure that you all know that a vote for me is a vote for students first every time, in every decision that I will make. And I have been showing that I can do that and have been doing that for 9 years. I also want to make sure that you understand that hard times are coming. The great state of Texas is not doing right by us currently, and we've got some really hard decisions to make. I will be strong, I will be knowledgeable, and I will make those tough decisions to make sure that we can have everything that we need for our students going forward. I believe in strong fiscal responsibility. I believe in keeping our students safe no matter what, and I promise I will continue my service. Please, I ask for your vote humbly on May 4th to continue my service.
Thank you. Thank you to all the candidates. This concludes this Mansfield ISD forum. Please take the next 30 minutes to visit